and welcome to Payks and Mora's fantasy review for rounds 4 and 5. Payks, I know a couple of weeks ago we were at the, where was it?
We were at the Angel, the home of my first beer, legal beer.
Home of Payks' first legal beer, good clause there. And we are here tonight at the Palace Hotel in Camberwell, the home of my first legal beer. So
if anyone has a place where they'd like to go to celebrate their first beer all those years ago, let us know.
Drop us a line on the wall and we will celebrate it with you. So this place holds some very good memories. We once held the pool table here till about 3 in the morning. Good memories, me and my ratty 19-year-old post-nut self. It was no one came here.
I could imagine it was long hair and
trackies. They let me in here in trackies. It's come a long way since then. Anyway, it's a big show. There's been some good fantasy footy over the weekend. There'll be some good fantasy footy over the next weekend. I think we should get stuck into it.
This week, our long-lost friend, the Barry Machine, declared who the player of the week was. This week's player of the week was Sean Burgoyne.
He certainly was. 113 points, Payks, and he went a long way into getting me over the line against Larkus, despite me having 17 players.
It's an impressive effort, Morris. Some say Larkus is the team to beat.
Yes, and did I mention I beat him with 17 players?
I think you did.
Yeah?
Definitely have.
Alright, as long as that's on the record, I'm happy. We can move on. Well, there was obviously 6 other matches that people care about over the weekend. There was the Andrew L. Derby, which was won by Lenger. Congratulations, mate.
There was also a game that was billed as the potential game for the Sacco between Tull and Greg, which absolutely turned into be an absolute romp, where Tull won by about 400 points.
He kicked 12 goals in the last quarter, didn't he?
He did, and it leaves me in the unfortunate position of fighting it out for the Sacco with Greg now.
Yes, and there was a slightly closer match that took place between Camel and Josh, and it wasn't that one for the ages. It went right down to the wire. It was decided by 13 points.
And for those playing at home, 13 points is a tackle after the siren, a free kick holding the ball, and a goal.
That's all it is. If only Bradley Hill had maybe laid one more tackle and maybe it's inside 50 in front of goal. But
on the selections down at Josh Land, picking Brad Hill to play over Lockie Whitfield was always going to possibly come back and hurt him. And
the same thing, picking Thomas Murphy out of anyone is just asking for trouble. And you know, Campbell Heath was on the bench, scored well more than 13 more than Thomas Murphy. So
I think that will also apply to picking Jack Watts. But unfortunately, I had no one else to pick for it. But his average was on the way up.
Did you have, at least you had 11 team players, Payks. I only had 17.
18.
Sorry, did I say 11?
You said 11 team. Anyway, let's get on with it. We got another winner of the week, also determined by our friend Barry. Speaking of selling some candy, it's a shame it's not Easter. We've got this week's winner of the week, the coach of the serious candy seller, Cyril Rioli. Lipper, welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's an honour to be on the program.
We know you're on here for being the winner of the week. How was it last week with your team? You just couldn't crack the ton. You had 4 on the bench scoring 90s, or 4 on the field scoring 90s.
Yeah, fortunately a few of the players did actually salute with a ton, but it's frustrating watching your players. A ton it's the sign of a champion team. How many players crack it? And 2 ended up on 99, 2 ended up on 98. Rioli, the main man, was at 102 after the siren. Champion Data dropped him back to 99. Toby Green, 102, free kick against.
Champion Data have been the R of the league for a couple of weeks now. How are we going to stop it?
Well, it kind of balanced out because Schulberg was playing against me this week and he gained 6 points late on because of Champion Data, whereas previous week he lost out because of them. So in the overall scheme of things, it kind of evens itself out.
Okay, so speaking of those watching and cheering them on while they're getting those high scores, closing in on the ton, what about Ross Lyon's decision to drag Nick Subin because he just wasn't getting the ball? How do you explain it?
Well, Levy's been at our house a lot in the past, and I think when Ross Lyon dragged Nick Subin in the second quarter for poor form, it was the loudest anyone has said the word cunt in our house. And that's despite Levy being there and yelling it out in front of grandparents, mothers, everyone. And so, yeah, I was shattered.
Was Josh there that night, that afternoon?
No, it was just me sitting alone and Mum was kind of doing her thing in the kitchen. Andrew might have been next to me. She questioned what went wrong with her parenting.
Where to from there?
Yeah.
It's only up, I would imagine, in the Lawrence household.
The worst thing was I brought Subin in for Harry Taylor at the start of the week, and Taylor went and got 106, and Subin got 13. And yeah, just devastating.
Well, never mind. You still got the points, and you are sitting top of the league. How are we going to stop you? How can we stop you the rest of the league?
Well, I'm not the highest scoring player yet. I've got Ween to catch and several others, I think. But with James Kelly and Nathan Foley set to come back in, I don't know, I'm going to be pretty difficult to catch, especially when other teams are getting injuries as the season goes on.
And you've been pretty good with the injuries so far. You've had a couple with Kelly and Johnson, but coming into the main part of the season, you should be right, ready to go.
Well, that's the aim. You need to peak at the right time, as Lucas showed last year. And once you're a champion of this league once, you're always going to be a threat.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Congratulations on being this week's winner of the week. Hopefully we see you in the chair again soon.
Thanks for having me. I hope to be back.
Well, Payks, Barry seems to think that Eddie Betts is going to feature heavily this week. As his coach, what do you say about that?
We've been looking forward to getting him back. We really wanted him in this forward line, just to scrap out any form of Jack White's being in this team. At the start of the year, I did have my team built around the possibility of Jack White's having a good season, but later, and now have discovered that I drafted depth with my 6th pick.
Well, hopefully Betts can squeeze back into the lineup. He might be your 11th player. You never know.
Maybe. Well, maybe also my 18th.
Well, as we're talking about how he squeezes in this week, Payks, you are playing Slavic. It's not the top of the table clash, but it's a really important game for both of you. Do you reckon you can get up?
I think we can. We've had some pretty good scores the last couple of weeks. We just need a little bit more improvement from the bottom base players again. That'll carry us forward, onwards and upwards.
You need to work on your defence as well, Payks. Your against is just way too high.
I have had about 1,500 scored against me in the last 2 weeks, so Slavic might be sitting at home comfortable knowing that he might have a big week.
Well, there's some other key crucial matches in the makeup of the ladder. The ladder is remarkably congested. Between positions 1 and 12, there's 4 points.
It's very early in this season and still anyone's game.
It's staggering that 5th place is on 2 and 2 and 12th place is also on 2 and 2, so it's anyone's season, that's for certain. Camel is 3rd, Langer is 10th. What do you see that one happening, Payks?
Langer's got the ability to score a lot of points. Camel will be relying on Ablett again. I think Langer might get up.
It'll be close, both teams coming off wins last week. Josh and Tal, another good contest. Fierce competitors, those two.
Well, Josh has been talking the talk this week. Let's see if he can walk the walk.
And if he doesn't, well, I know that Tal's derisive phone calls to him will be free courtesy of Telstra.
I think Tugger's a lot more free from Telstra.
Ron and Andrew, listen.
Doesn't strike you as a big game, but both teams are 2-2, I believe. So it could be one that just sets one apart from the other.
You got a tip for us? Because we close.
Ron with no confidence.
Interesting. I'm going Lifa with no confidence. So you want to put $0 on it? That would be fine by me. We've got the current favourite for the bog roll in Greg against the previous favourite for the bog roll in Elliot. Elliot surprising everyone to be up where he is in 6th position.
Well, if Elliot can't get over the line this week, he does deserve to be favourite for it again.
I think that's fair to say, Payks. Good call. There's yourself against Slavic, which we've spoken about. Myself against Lawrence.
Another big game. This will be for a top 4 spot at the end of this week.
Do you see me getting up, mate?
I think you can. I think Buddy in his 13. He won't score 13 this week.
I'd need one of those weeks, you know. I don't see it happening personally. Hopefully I can field 18 players because, you know, I only fielded 17 last week. And then we come to the big one. It's Larkus and Ween. This is one of the games that people block out in their calendar when the fixture is released at the start of the season.
This is a title fight, and it's no coincidence that it falls on Anzac Day. And that game tomorrow, the 2 games tomorrow, will be significant in determining the winner of this. Wayne has 8 players playing in the Essendon Collingwood game, and he could have a very comfortable weekend at home, knowing that he might have a winning score by Friday.
Absolutely. We're talking about players like Heppel and Bellchambers, Melksham, Dempsey, Zaharakis. That's all just from Essendon. I mean, Pendlebury's playing on Anzac Day as well. Armitage is averaging over 100, so he could have... he wouldn't have the game wrapped up, but he would put a lot of pressure on Larkus by the Friday night match.
He would, but Larkus does go deep in the midfield with the addition of Delidio during the week. Never know what could happen.
And you'd assume that Dale Thomas won't start in the green vest again this year?
He certainly won't be starting in the green vest tomorrow, you can guarantee that.
Lenny Hayes, he'll live for the Kiwis. You reckon when the circus comes to town, Lenny Hayes he'll lift?
He certainly will, and Lenny is an absolute gunner. But we all know that it's his time tomorrow night.
And also, just one last word on that. In the ruck, Larkus has Pike and Mumford. They're up against a Sol Ruck who he was out during the week in the media talking about how he's struggling to get to the contest. So you'd imagine between Pike and Mumford, probably maybe 60 bonus points in hitouts.
Possibly, but they are also the form duo of the competition at the moment, so it could be a big advantage for Larkus.
It'll be a fantastic contest. Larkus or Ween, you got a tip, Payks?
Wayne.
Interesting. I'm leaning towards Larkus despite the fact that he lost this week and his opponent only had 17 players. So it'll be an interesting contest. We'll look back on it next week and see which one of us tipped correctly.
Well, that's us for this week. Join us next week at an unknown location at this stage.
I don't know where we're going next week, but hopefully they have chairs like this, Payks. These have just been fantastic to us.
The beautiful leather chairs I could have fallen asleep in tonight. Hope you have a winner this week. Good night, everybody.